Hi, my name is Kristi Gay, and I want to be on Survivor, and I have wanted to be on Survivor for 20 years, and it's time that you let me on. I'm 41 years old. I've watched every season. I started applying as soon as I saw Richard Hatch's bare butt. The way I live my life is very Survivor based, and I think about Survivor every single day in my daily life. I would say my personality is very contradicting in that I'm really crazy in half of my life, crazy fun, never serious, and the other half of my life is the opposite, like always serious, always like being a boss. My middle school girls and my friends see the side of me that's really goofy, the butt of every joke. I am never taken seriously. I am usually the drunkest, the loudest, the one that people are like, oh my God, you gotta see Corky. My kids and their friends, my girls are in 6th and 8th grade. Their friends love to hang out with me. We make TikToks together. I'm like the cool mom, except for that I'm not cool at all. I'm like the opposite of cool, but they think it's hilarious and they take videos of me and whatever. So I'm totally a goof off in my personal life. And then in my work life is where I feel like I more use Survivor-like skills. So the people that I manage, they are all ages, from like straight out of college to like about to retire, and they all think of me as their mom, even though half of them are older than me. They know that I have their best interest in mind. They know that I want the best for them, but they're scared of me sometimes because I hold them accountable, and I think I'm a really good listener, empathetic, because all 17 of them have at one point broken down and cried in my office. So I've been trying to be a really good listener, really empathetic, really kind of like a counselor almost. And as far as the executives go, I totally learned how to, it's like Survivor, getting people ready for tribal council. When I need a decision made and I need like 6 or 7 executives to agree on something, and I have an opinion on what I want that answer to be, what I used to do is go into set up a meeting with all of them and just blindly open up this open-ended question on here, what should we do here? I have totally learned that's the opposite of what you need to do. I need to go drop in one at a time and basically recommend what I want the answer to be, make sure they all have buy-in individually. They don't even realize that I'm talking to everyone individually. And then when we come to the meeting, it's really just a formality so that everyone knows that everyone's in agreement. But I already know individually that everyone has already gotten into agreement. And that's just like tribal council. I wouldn't just go there without planning ahead or get all of my alliance together and be like, hey, what should we do? I would individually talk to each person, make sure I know what each one wants, and talk them into what I want individually so that when we have our little group meeting, everyone's already on board. It's all about in how you frame it. So if I have to ask them something, if I have to, ask them to do an assignment that they don't want to do, for example, travel to Alaska to install software. Nobody wants to do that necessarily, but I do know that, for example, Gary likes to go fishing, and so rather than just say, can you go to Alaska or you have to go to Alaska and install the software, which is really what the situation is, I say, hey, Gary, I heard there's really good fishing in this lake that's right by this customer where you have to go install the software. Do you want a free trip to Alaska to go fishing? It's all in how you frame it and think about what's in it for them. I always will have to, on Survivor, not be asking for things that I want, but telling people, hey, this is better for you, you should do this, because I frame it in the way that they're going to want it. In the last month, my dad, who is 66 years old, has been diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And what this has really shown me is how well my positivity and my optimism and my faith has ramped up. In this last month, I've been the Caring Bridge site administrator or author, and I've gotten constant feedback on how, okay, stage 4 pancreatic cancer is basically as bad as it can get from a cancer standpoint, but yet we are constantly talking about how optimistic we are and how everything is going right basically in in the journey that we've been on in this last month as right as it can go. And so rather than, I could spin everything in Survivor to be, pleasant to be around. Yeah, we could talk about how cold and hungry we are, or we could talk about the sunrise, or how happy we are to not be at work, or whatever. It's all about in how you spin it, both in every single interaction, but also just your aura, your energy. I really think someone's energy is either positive and pulling or negative. And I also think my faith has really ramped up in this last month, and reading scripture every day. And I really think that will help in Survivor, because I will constantly be coming back to, what is the right thing to do. And having Jesus next to me every day along the way will be the strength that I need to continue on. Another great thing is I think I'm really good at making long-lasting relationships. All of my friendships I'm 41 right now, and my friendships are mostly 30 or 35 years old. So I'm a loyal friend. I have good, deep friendships with a lot of history. I've been married for 15 years. And speaking of my husband, the way I get him to do things that I want, to talk him into things, is I've learned, rather than just ask outright, hey, I want to go on a trip to Switzerland, I know to plant tiny seeds and then be patient and let them grow so that it becomes more of his idea, or he's more of a partner along the way versus, oh, Kristi has another crazy idea that we have to do. It's more of like a partnership. And so that's what I would do with my number one alliance person, whoever my closest ally is I would plant seeds, but let it be their idea, or let them come to the same conclusion that I want them to, without me seeming like a boss. I've talked to several people in casting over the years, and each time I freak out and get really excited. Talked to Allie Pohovitz probably like 6 years ago. Talked to Penny Clifton and Lynn Spillman as they were casting me for a different pilot that actually got filmed but never was aired. Darla Jean, someone that I know met this summer, who's in casting apparently, and most recently I've been talking to Stephen Edward, who is a casting recruiter. Anyway, just some name drops in case any of you work together. So that's it about Kristi and why I already live Survivor and how I need to actually live it out on the island.